In addition, he has also been awarded the Ati Visisht Seva Medal, Vayu Sena Medal and Visisht Seva Medal for distinguished service. He is a postgraduate from the Defence Service Staff College, Wellington. Married to Dr. Shoba, a specialist in anesthesia, the couple have a son and daughter, which we need not introduce. The Air Marshal retired from the Indian Air Force in December 2012 and lives in Chennai. Dr. Shoba Varthaman, the proud mother of Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, graduated from the Madras Medical College in 1974 and completed her diploma in anesthesia from the Royal College of Surgeons, England in 1978. She has worked in India and England as an anesthesiologist and intensive care specialist. Dr. Shoba has volunteered in humanitarian missions with Doctors Without Borders in several countries such as the Ivory Coast, Nigeria, Syrian border, Laos, and in the flood-hit Orissa. Dr. Shoba has held major positions in international humanitarian medical organizations such as the MSF Association of South Asia Region, Association Standing Committee, MSF International, Operations Smile, to name a few. Dr. Shoba was awarded the Ambassador for Peace recognition by the Interreligious and International Federation for World Peace, a South Korean NGO, for her services, and the Woman of Substance Award 2012 by Signature TCAI Guwahati. Currently, Dr. Shoba is working on an innovative initiative to control and prevent tuberculosis, initially in Tiruvannamalai district in partnership with the government of Tamil Nadu. Dr. Shoba also makes time to give talks on varied subjects such as health, volunteerism, women empowerment, and many more in schools, colleges, women's associations, and corporate offices. Wait, there is more. Dr. Shoba, a grandmother of 3 delightful children, is a Bharatanatyam exponent too. Blessed with parents as this, our hero, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, faced the enemy with stoic defiance, making the nation's hearts swell with pride. I take immense pride and honor in welcoming Dr. Shoba Varthaman to kindly render a special address. Madam, please.
I'm more privileged today because I'm talking in front of a huge audience who are going to shape the future of our country. And I hope I'll have enough time to tell my thoughts. During the past hour and a half, I went through a roller coaster ride of emotions, not only mentally, emotionally, but also physically. I had goosebumps, my heart raced, and also I was all warm and hot. I said, how? Well, I'm robbed of words. The speakers today have all given us such an infusion of energy. And before, I'm almost forgetting what I wanted to say. I first thank Sumati and the S Foundation for the initiatives that they have taken. And, they are creating leaders. They are creating leaders with communication skills, clarity of thought, and purity of intention. And this is what is going to shape our country and its future in the coming years. And I really appreciate you and wish you many more years in continuing your endeavor. The speakers, they've all been charged, they've done a lot of research, and they express themselves very well. Of course, Mr. Tripur Krishna is not happy with the diction and pronunciation. I'm sure they'll correct it. Nothing is impossible. But, I wish you all many more opportunities to express yourself and put what you have taught into practice so that we benefit the society. Now, this morning, I thought I'm going to talk something normally they don't talk in military functions, but the speakers, the jurors before me, all of them spoke a bit and part of what I was to say, and I'm so happy that I'm in sync with them. The greater minds, and I'm happy that I'm in sync with the greater minds. Today I want to give you a small insight, a small walk of discovery to a silent army, an army which is behind the second largest military in the world. This army is larger than the second largest military in the world. There are 1.4 million combat personnel in India, but I'm talking of an army which is double that size and perhaps more than double. They are a silent army. They are never talked about. The defense budget doesn't include them. They are not on the payroll of anybody, but they are quintessential to the second largest military in the world. They stand behind every army man, the Air Force personnel and the Navy personnel. They stand silently behind them, support them, and love every one of that 1.4 million personnel unconditionally. And I think I'm qualified to talk about this particular army because I am a daughter-in-law of an air warrior. I am the wife of a soldier. I am the mother of a soldier. And last but not the least, I am the mother-in-law of a soldier. I'll talk about my last status first because being a helicopter pilot and at the same time carrying out the responsibilities of a wife, a mother, is a double burden, as Lakshmi would vouch for. Who do you put first? Would you put your country first, or would you put your family first? But this is the kind of double burden which a military mom, wife balances and does efficiently well. And my salute to my daughter-in-law and her ilk in the services. Now, we talked, many have talked before me about the wife and the supreme sacrifices. When a service personnel signs up to serve the supreme commander of the forces, who happens to be the president, and give his life, if need be, to protect the country, he signs it for his life. But when a woman marries him, the minute she becomes Mrs. So-and-so, she has become part of that contract. And, a man, when he signs that contract, he signs up his life. But when a woman signs that marriage contract with the man that she's going to live all her life, she signs up her universe. It is her sun around which she and her children will rotate who is at stake. But she does this willingly, knowing that I am with this man, I love him, And the package deal is, I love my country. And she accepts that. And that is the greatness of this lady who associates herself with the soldier. Now, you all might be thinking, I heard the whole morning about the pain and about the sacrifices, and it all had a very sad intonation. But I must tell you, we wives of the soldiers are a very happy lot. We do a lot of things where, with joy and verve. And the joy, there is a word in French, it's called joie de vivre, that is joy of living. You could find it 100% in the military wives. We do move around very often. I have moved 19 times with my husband in 35 years. We have packed all the worldly possessions into some 15-20 boxes at a moment's notice. Once I have packed it within a week. We leave our family with whom we grew up to faraway places, into a place where we don't know the language. And we also, leave them after getting to know them and go and leave old friends and meet new friends. But when a posting signal comes, we say, oh, that's nice, I've never been to that place. And then when we go there, we learn this new language, it's fantastic. And then we also learn the culture. In fact, if you take a military wife, she will know much, much more about this country and abroad than somebody who's lived in Chennai all their lives. And so there is a lot of good things that come along with it. The biggest advantage is she becomes the sole agent to bring up her children. Many a times, the fathers are a hindrance. They spoil them. If the child is disciplined, if the child is brought up in the spirit of loving the country, if the child is going the right path, and if he is honest and he does what has been taught with good values, I think the credit goes to the mother who brings them up with due apologies to the fathers. They contribute, but the contributions are far and few between, thankfully. And many a times the military mother feels like Jijabai. I'm producing Chhatrapati Shivaji. And now comes the mother part of it. We all say, we work very hard, we made so many sacrifices and things like that. So somebody asked me, all mothers do. They all work hard, they make a lot of sacrifices to bring up the child. But a mother outside the military field, she brings up her child and she does a lot of hard work and sacrifices for her family, to the society and the country and the community. I don't mean community in the sense of religion, caste or creed, the community in which we live. She brings up her children to live as a good citizen of this country. And that is what is so essential in today's world when we are shrinking our space around us. And this military mom does it in a natural, spontaneous way with nobody telling her how to do it and what to do. She does it. How? Because she has a tremendous understanding of what the military teaches, of what military practices, and what they stand for. If she didn't have that understanding, she cannot bring up her children the way she does. So that is and when my son wanted to join the Air Force, somebody asked me, "Are you okay with that?" I said, "Yeah, I love him, and if he is going to be happy doing what he is doing, I'm happy with that. Besides, I brought him up as a military brat. He has grown up as a military brat, so he knows what he wants." At 16 years old, this young child who was brought up in the military bases as a military child is independent, he knows what he wants, and he has backed up his wants and desires with the good values and traditions that has been taught to him by everybody around him, not only the mother, it's the aunts, the bhaias, the people. You have to really experience what it is by visiting a military base to see what the atmosphere is. They have the schools they go to, KV, the children don't differentiate between an NC's child or a group captain's child or whoever it is, whatever their rank be. They are friends, they are adaptable. My children actually, they changed 9 schools in their 12 years of education. And when people say, "I am not going with my husband because my child has to have a good education, I am staying back," I remember what my son said. When we were in Bangalore and my husband got posted to Gwalior, and he said, "I want to go to Gwalior because these are the last 2 years I will have with my family as a whole. After that, we separate and we will only have holidays. We can never have the family together." And as a military mom, I respected his thought. And we all moved to Gwalior in spite of an excellent life for us in Bangalore. And what is this military brat? Brat is not derogatory. It's not about a child being naughty. At one time, when the families moved with the soldiers, they called it the British Regiment Accompanying Traveller. That is brat. That included the wife and the child, but the wives didn't want to be called brat, so it stuck to the children alone. And who are these military brats? They are independent, they are resilient, they adapt to any circumstance, and they also have the presence of mind to do, they're very smart. And if you Google and see army children or military children, when I say army brat, it includes Army, Air Force, Navy, all of them. You will find how successful they are, how sought after they are. Every company wants, if you have a child from an army background to a child who doesn't, there is an added advantage, I must say, and I say it with a lot of pride. I'm not being boastful. Now, this army brat, who is not only very successful, very smart, very independent, free-thinking, also has a streak of compassion, of caring, because he is so patient to see his father come back. He is patient waiting for his father, and when the father comes back from, say, Siachen Glacier or Nagaland or someplace, he understands the turmoils that his father goes through. Now, what am I talking about? When we all talked about Kargil, unfortunately I don't know much about Kargil except that I've been there after the war. But I do know about Siachen Glacier because a friend of mine was posted over there and he has told me stories about it. Do you know that this Siachen Glacier is the toughest battlefield in the world? And when your skin touches anything metal, within 15 seconds, the skin burns and it dies and it falls off. There are many people who come back from the glacier who have lost their toes and fingers due to frostbite. But have you ever heard a soldier complaining? or whining that I'm doing this? Has he given press releases or media interviews? He takes it in his stride. But it is not very easy. You know, we all breathe air which has 21% oxygen. Whereas in Siachen Glacier, there's only 10% of oxygen available. This less oxygen which you breathe can cause a lot of damage to you. One, it can give you a headache, it can fill your lungs with fluid, and it can create, and that loneliness. Have you ever been to Himalayas? It's a very lonely place. And you have just 10 people for your company. And in that place, when I've been to Ladakh, even taking a step ahead used to be such a difficult thing for me, and I would go breathless. But these guys go even further higher, and where temperatures go down to -70, they carry loads. They have to carry their guns, they have to carry their rations, totally 40 kilograms each of them carry and walk distances. This is the kind of hardship these soldiers go through. But they never say a word. Their families never say a word. The child never talks of it in a pitiful manner. In fact, the child or the wife or the mother is so proud that her husband or her son or her father does all of this with enormous josh, and all they look for is the next step forward. When will I go back? Or when can I do something more interesting again? You know, I've been watching this for 35 years I've been with my husband in the services, and I felt, and I also read a little bit of scriptures here and there, I felt that 60 to 70% of the philosophy that is said in Bhagavad Gita are practiced normally by the military family and the soldier without any effort, and most of them haven't read Bhagavad Gita. Right? Now, after this March, December, I get a lot of WhatsApp messages, and many of them they say, I want to be like Abhinandan, and I want to do something. I cannot join the military, but I want to do something for the country. And I'm so happy and I'm so proud that here is a soldier who was visible. And I'm thankful to God that he made this soldier visible so that the country could see. It came at a time when there were discussions going on to whether to stand up for a national anthem or not. At that time, this soldier, I thank the Pakistani who put the video on public media so that they could see what material, what fabric soldiers are made of, and how proud they are of serving their country, and what tenacity they have. This helped in creating a national spirit which brought this country, maybe not the 1.2 billion, I would delete a few millions, but the rest of them stood in unison behind this soldier to draw their inspiration from him. Now, what can we do? Do we need to join the military? Not necessarily. There are so many battles in this earth. There is a battle against plastic, there is a battle against climatic change, there is a battle against corruption. You can battle all these battles in your own life. And this battle, for this, I heard Sumati's one interview where she said, where the mind is without fear, the head is held high. I think Rabindranath Tagore. The mind has to be without fear, so that you can put your head high and walk. And to put your head high and walk, what do you need? You need knowledge. You need discipline. So this is what we need to inculcate in our system. You know, after living in this earth for 60 years, advising and suggesting comes naturally to the old people. That's what I'm doing today. So, to fight these battles, what do? You lead by example. You know, when I talked about the military brats, one thing that is so very distinctive about them is their discipline. They are not regimented, they have their easy moments as well, but they are disciplined. So try to inculcate discipline into you. You will not only make your parents proud, when you make your parents proud, you make the country proud. Right? Mahan Tandikku Aatrum Udavi Ivan Tandai Ennotra Kol Enum Sol. So, what you can do is you can make your parents proud by leading by example. What makes a parent proud? What makes a parent proud? To hear that their child is somebody wiser, somebody who's an achiever, somebody who contributes to the society, somebody who is a leader, who can take the people around him forward, somebody who has care, who has compassion. All this is inculcated in a military man, child, wife, and mother. So this, then we don't have to have cantonments. We can have the entire country as one. We don't have to have gates in cantonments. We can open them out because we all practice the same as what the military do. Then, last, I'll finish with this. Be proud of your country. You know, there are only two things certain in life. One is life, the other is death. But there are two things which is Shashwadam. Shashwadam means, you know what? You understand, no? Shashwadam. That two things which are Shashwadam in life is mother and motherland. There is no doubt about it. This one is your mother, there is no doubt about it. This is my motherland, there is no doubt about it. You can be in any corner of the world. These are the two things that are important, quintessential, and which is true in your life, true. And you know, when many times I keep thinking, what am I as a mother to a soldier? He doesn't require anything from me. And he's so far away, he has his life to lead, he is married and he has his own family. But what I understood, I deduced in my own mind by what is happening to me and to the others is, we are the keepers, the mothers of the soldier or mothers of anybody are the keepers of your soul. We are the ones who keep you honest and remind you of the values and traditions and history and culture that you have learned in your childhood. And, you know, my last word to you is that stand up for your national anthem. Sing the song, and with every word that you sing, it should come from your heart. And when it comes from your heart, the word that you sing in every line should reflect, this is my country. I belong to this country. It is my responsibility to make this country the best country in the world. If you can take this as a takeaway today and follow it, you know, Today, Marathal Thagumo, everybody talked, everybody said many interesting things, and many with VrC emotional speech and all. Don't நீங்களே போய் வீட்டுக்கு போற வரைக்கும் அது இருக்கணும், மறந்துடாதீங்க. The other thing is, I would, when I got married, in South India there had been no wars since Kattabomman and Tipu Sultan, right? So we don't understand what war is and how people are. When you go to Punjab, they respect you. Now, when I got married, they said, "Patala Tanya Kalyan Panikran." So, inniki pesina kulandaigalla, when the time comes for you to marry, if somebody says, "Here is a man from the army, air force or military," go ahead and marry with pride. Garvama, I am the wife of the man who helps the rest of the country to sleep peacefully at night. Tell your parents, I want to be that element who is supporting the man who is the security of my country. Right? And when your child comes and says, "Amma, I want to join the army," be proud of him and say, "Son, you have made a good decision. Don't stop it." That is when I will believe when you said, "Marathal Thagumo Maravadihal." Right? When you make the words that you utter a reality and you make it a practice, that is when your words have meaning. நான் ஒரு இது பார்த்தேன், ஒரு இங்கே தான் இப்போ ரெண்டு வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி வீடியோ சுகி சிவன் சார் சொன்னார், சாமர்த்தியமாக பேசலாம், சத்தியமாக பேசலாம். ஆனால் இந்த ஒரு சப்ஜெக்டுக்காக மரத்தல் தகுமோக்கு நீங்கள் எல்லோரும் சத்தியமாக பேசணும். என்னால் நீங்கள் அந்த இதை நீங்கள் பார்த்துருந்தீங்கன்னா, சத்தியமாக பேசுனீங்கன்னா, you will follow what you talk today and not let it stand as a talk. That was on 28th of September, and forget it by the time you reach your home. So the key takeaway is, be proud of your country and work towards making this country the best in the world. Jai Hind.